This is Suburban On Air and Cohen in the City. Here is Mike Cohen.
Now, I've been incredibly fortunate to have experienced a lot of cool things in my life. You know, I've traveled, I played soccer in front of big crowds, I've been on TV.
The winner of Survivor Africa.
I'm not an expert on human nature, but I did gain some insight into the way people work and the tools people use when placed in an unfamiliar environment. Distractions were taken away from me. I was left with nothing more than the bare essentials of who I am. And once I became aware I can use this celebrity in this moment in my life as a platform to just provide this little mini revolution of consciousness. And this is how we can all begin to change the world.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here with Zohn, one of my favorite contestants ever in Survivor. I've been watching every episode since it came on the air, except the first one for some reason. We got it on a VCR and something went wrong that night.
VCR.
Yeah.
We're going way back.
Exactly. Ethan, you're in Montreal.
Yes.
Last night,
Yeah.
you spoke to a nice crowd at the Jewish Community Foundation's, the Center for Philanthropic Learning. So what made you want to come to Montreal to speak to that group?
Well, you know, I'm a Jewish wilderness icon. Now,
Yeah.
that's a self-promoted Jewish wilderness icon. But, you know, winner of the show Survivor. And, you know, a big part of my life is giving back. And I use some of the money that I won from Survivor to co-found a charity called Grassroots Soccer. And so this concept of Tikkun Olam, you know, heal the world, is just a huge part of my life. And I feel kind of by sharing my story and coming here to Montreal, hanging out with the Jewish community up here, I just thought it would be a really fun opportunity.
What were some of the things you spoke about last night?
Well, you know, growing up Jewish and living by Jewish values is really what helped me survive Survivor, survive cancer. And so, you know, that's being selfless, being a leader, being a member of the community. All these parts of my life that I learned growing up Jewish is what I use in my everyday life.
Right.
And on Survivor specifically, like the whole concept of community. You know, as Jews, I think it's so important to be part of the Jewish community. Community is even more important now than it ever has been before.
Yeah.
And so in Survivor, my whole strategy was to be a member of the community, right?
Yeah.
So like I would want to make myself crucial to everyone else's survival.
Yeah.
So without me, they wouldn't struggle even more.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just one of the themes that I spoke about last night.
The Jewish Community Foundation of Greater Montreal, is a great organization. I work at the English Montreal School Board by day. We got a grant to sensitize young students to the Holocaust, mainly non-Jewish students. They do great work, but I think it would be amazing, you know, if because you have to apply for grants.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they did a tribal council and they had to vote organizations off? It could be something cool.
Oh my God, I don't know. All I know is that, I mean, incredible organization. They donate over $200 million a year, 1,400 different charities in Canada. It is absolutely incredible. There is no other nonprofit like that affects the lives of Jews every single day, and that is so inspiring to me.
Exactly. So let's talk about Survivor. You were on 3 times.
Yes.
And you won $1 million in one of them. I mean, it's obviously a rhetorical question, but how much did it change your life?
Well, you know, Survivor 2001 was when Survivor Africa was filmed, so it was way back in the day. I'm an old school Survivor.
Yes.
But yeah, it changed my life. You know, it put me on a trajectory that I would have never imagined ever before. And like I said, it provided me the opportunity to kind of do things I've always wanted to do. So prior to Survivor, I lived and played professional soccer in Zimbabwe.
Right. Yeah.
And, you know, that's when I had my first experience being in Africa, and I saw firsthand what was happening with HIV and AIDS and how it was just destroying this community.
Yeah.
And so then when I went on Survivor, we filmed in Africa,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you remember this, but there was a reward challenge where I won 2 goats, which I wasn't so happy about. But I got to take these goats to this little village of Wamba, and I had my luxury item, which is a hacky sack.
Right.
And so I got to play hacky sack with all
I
these
remember
children.
it well.
Right?
I remember it well.
I later found out all these kids were HIV positive.
Oh my.
So like here I was in the middle of this game, this cutthroat game of Survivor, and I had that real life experience.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment
Yeah.
I wanted to do something about it.
Yeah.
And that's why I donated money to start the charity.
Yeah.
But that whole moment in my life, that was like my do something moment. And I took advantage of it.
Yeah.
And it's been an incredible journey.
I personally liked Survivor. It was exciting when they would go, you know, where are they going this time? We're going to Africa, we're going to Australia, and now the last many years they've just stayed in Fiji.
Yeah.
And obviously you understand why. There's a lot of infrastructure and there's costs, but to me, wasn't it more fun to see when they went to different venues?
You know, it is. I think the game has changed over the past 20 years. You know,
Yeah.
I like to say it's not any better. It's not better or worse, it's just different.
Yeah.
And the game is shifted, and it's not necessarily about the geographical location and the experience being in that environment, meeting the locals of that country.
Yeah.
Now it's more strategy, gameplay, and so you can have a permanent or semi-permanent location like a Fiji because it is all gameplay now.
Yeah.
If you watch the show, there's less impetus on the challenges. It's more about strategy, gameplay, personal relationships. You know, it's like one big giant 26-day schmoozing event.
Yes, yeah. Now you had cancer twice.
I did.
And you fought and you were persevered and you beat it. And then you went on Survivor after you recovered from cancer. How difficult was that? I mean, it was difficult watching you on some of those episodes.
It was tough. You know, I had been through multiple rounds of chemotherapy, radiation. I had 2 stem cell transplants. And so I remember watching Survivor Heroes versus Villains in 2010 in my hospital room.
Right.
And I said, if I get out of this thing alive, I'm going to go back out there and I'm going to play again. So for me, it was, you know, it was a 10-year journey getting myself ready mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally to go back and play again. And when I was out there, the second I stepped foot on that beach, I was like, why the hell did I do this? This is the worst. I hate it. I'm bored. I miss my mom, my cats, my mom, my wife. No, but obviously I couldn't pass up the opportunity. But it's a difficult game. You know, the game moves so fast. I wouldn't say I was best prepared for it. But such an incredible adventure, and obviously got to hang out with all those Survivor winners.
So Jeff Probst let it out on in Entertainment Weekly that there's the 50th version, which is going to be in a couple of years. They're going to bring back oldies and survivors and all-stars, and I asked you this off camera. I'm asking you again. If you got the call, would you do it for the 50th?
Like, pretend you're Jeff Probst right now.
Okay, come on in, guys. He doesn't do that anymore.
I'll see you later, Jeff. No, thank you.
The tribe has spoken.
The tribe has spoken. I'm not going back out there. But you never know. Like, if you get a call from Jeff Probst, you answer the call. But that last season took it out of me. But of course, I love the game. I love everything about it. I'd love to be able to, you know, try it again. However, it's tough.
My good friend Daniel Smadjevitz, who's such a Survivor fan, who's here today and helping me film this. Because
you're breaking the third wall right now. You're breaking the third wall.
So Daniel told me, in his opinion, Survivor continues as long as Jeff Probst is there, and when he decides it's over, he doesn't think anyone else could fill his shoes. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. Jeff is such an icon, and he's incredible at his job, and he's involved in every aspect of the show, from casting to challenge design, obviously production. He's host, so it would be hard to watch that show without Jeff. However, there are about 23, 25 other countries that have their own version of Survivor,
including Quebec,
that is doing pretty darn well. So is it possible? Maybe you grab the host of Survivor Australia, bring him to America, see how it goes. But I don't think it's going to happen. Jeff's the guy, and no one would want to watch it without Jeff here in the U.S.
Yeah, it seems to have just such staying power, and now they're at 90 minutes. I personally think 90 minutes is 30 minutes too long for me, but my friend Daniel disagrees. He likes it. But you're still watching the show, right?
Still watching the show. I love it. Yeah. In fact, I'm filming a podcast with a guy by the name Tyson.
That's right.
You know, it's pretty fun. I still try to keep myself involved in the mix and everything.
Yeah, and so it's great, and you're making the rounds. So really pleased to have you here in Montreal. I met you once before when you were co-hosting the Bialik High School fashion show for Camp B'nai B'rith many years ago, and we've done a few Zoom interviews, but to be able to see you in person again, it's really exciting. So thanks for everything, and keep up the great work.
I mean, and it's just been an absolutely incredible experience hanging out with the Jewish Community Foundation of Montreal, and it's just an incredible speaker series that they host. I'm just honored to be a part of it, and the work that they're doing every single day is saving the lives of real people, so it's unbelievable.
Well, a shout out to Kathy Asayeg, the executive director, and to Shirley Dayan, their marketing director, for making sure that I got this interview. Keep up the great work, Ethan.
Thank you so much.
All right, that was Ethan Zohn with me, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, check this out. So this is the shirt that I won $1 million in, and what does that say right there?
Oh my God.
Maccabee USA. So you're allowed to bring 2 T-shirts on the show.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
And I brought this one, which
oh my gosh!
you know,
wow.
Got to be a proud Jew out there.
That's crude,
right?
Yeah.
And here is Here's the buff.
Yeah.
I won $1 million in this buff.
Wow.
No longer sponsored by Reebok.
You must keep
but-
that in a safety deposit box or something.
I don't think so. And here's one of the original clues from way back in the day.
That's the actual parchment.
Parchment paper, hand drawn. Look at the
Wow.
art department is incredible.
Oh
at
my
Survivor.
gosh. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very cool.
Cool. There you go. I'm gonna go hide this in a tree right now.
That's funny.